Chinese companies make a fortune from COVID. A protest against traitor Xi Jinping. And Elon Musk solves all the problems between China and Taiwan. That and more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored by Surfshark. You should be using a VPN like Surfshark to protect yourself whenever you go online. A rare protest happened in Beijing this week. Just days before the Communist Party's 20th Party Congress, someone unfurled 2 banners and lit a fire on a bridge overpass in China's capital. Something that wouldn't be a big deal in other countries where protests are legal. But in China, this was huge. Especially since Beijing really clamps down on security ahead of a big Communist Party meeting. The last time this meeting was held, Beijing banned knife sales and ordered people not to open their windows. So the fact that someone was able to do any kind of protesting is pretty remarkable. The banner says, "No to COVID tests, yes to food. No to lockdowns, yes to freedom. No to lies, yes to dignity. No to cultural revolution, yes to reform. No to leaders, yes to votes. Don't be a slave, be a citizen." But it's the second banner that's even more explosive. It says, "Students strike, workers strike, remove the traitor and dictator Xi Jinping." Here's a photo of someone dressed like a construction worker putting up the banner. In this video, you can see police taking down the banners, and it looks like arresting the person who put them up. Needless to say, all the photos and videos of this incident are being scrubbed from the Chinese internet and social media. Words like warrior and a courageous person have been censored as well. People had their WeChat accounts suspended for sharing photos of the incident. And this is how crazy censorship can get in China. A song named Sitong Bridge, the name of the overpass where the incident reportedly happened, was removed from online music platforms. Imagine if a protest happened in Manhattan and every song about New York was removed from the internet. This week, Chinese authorities have been rushing to control new COVID cases across the country. How bad is it? Well, mainland China reported 427 new symptomatic COVID cases for Monday nationwide. And if you add asymptomatic cases, there's more than 2,000 new COVID cases per day in China. Which, okay, that still doesn't sound like a lot in a country of 1.4 billion people. But these are the official numbers, which could be an undercount. And remember, the Chinese Communist Party has a zero COVID policy. Even 2,000 cases is still more than zero. And the only tool the Communist Party has is to treat the virus like a Chinese dissident and lock it up. Across China this week, nearly 200 million people are in some form of lockdown. And that comes at a cost. Not the human cost, the party doesn't care about that. I mean the financial cost. Analysts estimate that regular mass testing would cost nearly $100 billion a year if 900 million people were tested every 3 days, which in the cities, a lot of people are required to do. In fact, police have even detained people just for skipping COVID tests, sometimes locking them up for more than a week. But there's a silver lining to all this government spending. See, even though testing measures are not very effective at actually stopping the spread of COVID, the testing industry continues to make huge profits. Which means that as long as China's zero COVID policy continues, certain big corporations and special interest groups will be A-OK. And don't think that the Chinese Communist Party will be loosening its COVID rules anytime soon. State-run People's Daily wrote on Wednesday that COVID policies will continue. They wrote that lying flat is not advisable, and to win the COVID battle while lying flat is not possible. Lying flat refers to doing nothing, which itself is a new trend in China, as a lot of young people are fed up with not just COVID policy, but all sorts of things. Well, you'd better get up off the floor and fight, you lazy millennials. Fight that microscopic virus by not leaving your apartment. And to encourage that fighting spirit of not going outside, but also definitely not lying flat, one city in Yunnan province has offered cash rewards to residents who report on individuals attempting to conceal their travel histories. See, you can win the battle against COVID by reporting on your friends and neighbors. Yes, do it in the spirit of communism, but also in the spirit of capitalism. Because residents who single out close contacts of such travelers will receive 2,000 yuan. That's about $280. So if you do live in China and plan to go on vacation, keep it quiet and don't post your thirsty travel pics on Instagram. Actually, you can't because Instagram is banned in China. A fun fact, China's version of Instagram is called Xiaohongshu, which literally means little red book. And after the break, Elon Musk solves the China-Taiwan problem. Welcome back. If there's anything I've learned from the madness of the past 2 years, it's that billionaires can solve all of our problems. Case in point, Elon Musk. He's been trying to buy Twitter, suggesting he'll restore certain banned speech on the platform, especially political speech. And last week, in an interview with Financial Times, he gave his very important billionaire opinion on how to handle China wanting to take over Taiwan. He said, "My recommendation would be to figure out a special administrative zone for Taiwan that is reasonably palatable. Probably won't make everyone happy. And it's possible, and I think probably, in fact, that they could have an arrangement that's more lenient than Hong Kong." So under his arrangement, it's possible and maybe even probable that Taiwan under China's rule wouldn't have no free speech like Hong Kong, but could at least keep some of their free speech, as long as the Taiwanese are well behaved, and as long as their free speech doesn't get political. And I'm sure the Chinese Communist Party will keep their promises. Just ask Hong Kong. Sure, Elon Musk's comments made a lot of people unhappy, like everyone in Taiwan, but my favorite state-run media, the Global Times, was super happy. They wrote a whole article about it and quoted a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson praising Elon Musk. "We hope and are happy to see more and more people understand and support peaceful reunification and one country, two systems." That's good news for Elon Musk, at least financially. Remember, his company Tesla is heavily invested in China. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Tesla hit a China sales record right as Beijing praised Elon Musk's Taiwan proposal. Anyway, Tesla has poured tons of money into China. It was reported last year that Tesla would invest more than $100 million just to expand its Shanghai factory. And on top of that, Tesla relies on Chinese companies overseas to acquire the rare earth elements Tesla needs for their massive car batteries. That cobalt won't mine itself. Get back to work, kids. So let's say Elon Musk buys Twitter, and then Chinese authorities threaten Tesla unless Twitter promises to, for example, censor dissidents or expose what location they're tweeting from. What do you think would happen? Obviously, Elon Musk would put his billions of dollars at risk and stand up for free speech, because that's what billionaires do. They speak truth to power. And after the break, you can learn a lot from Chinese police. Welcome back. Despite Russia's war in Ukraine, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin remain BFFs. And now, according to a panel of experts organized by the Hudson Institute, China and Russia are quietly expanding their Arctic partnership. Here's what that means. China wants control of the Arctic shipping lanes. As you can see on this map, where the North Pole is in the center, those polar routes are a much faster way to move containers from China to the U.S. East Coast and to Western Europe. But the partnership with Russia is about more than just shipping. China is subtly installing a larger presence in the Arctic through an extensive partnership with Russia in areas ranging from multi-use ports and airfields to energy extraction. And the partnership will also include sharing intelligence and surveillance data. It's always good when authoritarian regimes get better at those things. Now, officially, China has not established a military or naval base in Russia, and that's probably never going to happen. Because why risk the backlash of making it official? If China really needs to dock its destroyers at some Russian port, I'm sure these two besties can work something out. Speaking of countries where China is definitely, positively not going to build a naval base, the Solomon Islands. It's way out in the Pacific Ocean between Australia and Hawaii. It happens to be run by a prime minister who's been taking money from China and using it to secure his own grip on power. He recently signed a security deal with China, and now he's sending 32 police officers to China for training. Because China has the best training for police officers. These Solomon Islanders will learn China's techniques for effective community policing, protecting the rights of minorities, and ensuring suspects are treated with dignity and fairness. The World Bank this week said China needs $17 trillion in investments to meet its climate goals. The World Bank is a giant global institution that makes loans and grants to developing countries. It's all about figuring out the best way to finance important projects. That's why their latest report says that to help stop climate change, China would need private investment to cover the immense price tag and unleash the needed innovations. In other words, Western companies really need to invest in Chinese green energy projects. And I agree. If they do, we're bound to see more innovations, like China stealing American wind turbine technology, using ethnic forced labor to make solar panels, and building more coal-fired power plants than the rest of the world combined. Which is why the World Bank says private sector participation is crucial to ensure China's path to carbon neutrality. Because if Western companies pump money into China, the Chinese Communist Party will definitely use it to meet the West's climate goals. And this episode has been sponsored by Surfshark. If you're tired of being under constant surveillance, at least you can hide your internet activity with a VPN like Surfshark. Surfshark has uncrackable encryption and the most secure VPN protocols. And with IP and DNS leak protection, neither the government nor your internet service provider can find where you're really connecting from. And Surfshark doesn't keep logs of what you do online. That's why using a VPN like Surfshark is a key part of protecting yourself whenever you go online. So use Surfshark. And another great feature is you can connect as many devices as you want with just one Surfshark account. So try it out now. Surfshark has a special deal for China Uncensored viewers that includes 83% off a 2-year plan plus 3 extra months for free. So go to surfshark.com/uncensored and use the code uncensored to get 3 extra months for free. Use the link in the description below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.